All right, so Burlcore absolutely just announced the Q3 payouts, right? And it caused a pretty decent sized uproar inside of the community. Obviously, the announcement was $2. I'm gonna give you my honest thoughts on it, and I'm gonna give you an alternative perspective that I don't think a lot of people are gonna take into account. So if you wanna kind of understand that from a fundamental perspective, like what's going on in the background, I would probably stay to the end of this video. Now, the one thing I do want to say is that if they are giving out $2 per token, right? That means if you've got, say, 500 tokens, you made $1,000 for the quarter. Now, a lot of people are going around saying, hey, that's actually pretty decent, blah, blah, blah. That's a 1% payout, right? Say you bought your tokens at $200. That's what most people bought them at, was 200 bucks. That's literally a 1% payout for a quarter, right? So is that a great payout ROI? No, it's not. It's not, of course not, right? That's like 0.33% for each month. You can make more than that by just putting $29 into NORDIC Alpha, and you're gonna make more than 0.33% a month taking the trades that we give out. I totally get that. But what you're not understanding is that this is a passive income play where you own a portion of the actual rights of the gold that is put out, right? Now, I agree with some of the things that they're doing, and I don't agree with some of the other things that they're doing. And it might not necessarily be that I disagree with it. It might just be that they haven't done it yet. And if they do, then even better, right? So here's my bias on it. This is just my opinion. You can have your own opinion, but this is my channel. I'm going to have my opinion on it, right? So this is a passive income play that's supposed to be a super long-term investment. You're literally buying a portion of a gold mine, right? What does that mean? You think they just go and pick up a shovel from their shed and go out and like find and dig ground in the gold? No, they don't do that, right? They have heavy machinery, massive amounts of permits, legal red tape that they have to get through in order to be able to get that gold out of the ground. Then secondarily, once they get that gold out of the ground, they got to be able to refine that gold and make sure that they separate it from everything else that they pulled out of the ground, right? And then third, they got to process that and then send it off to an actual refinery to get money from it, right? So there's that's an overly simplified step-by-step process of what they have to do. Obviously, there's 100 more things that they have to do in the meantime. Now, the fact that you're even getting $2 should be a little bit helpful to you. And I know a lot of people aren't going to think of it like that, and I totally get it. But let me tell you something from a business owner's perspective. I don't know how many people that are in Burlcore are actually business owners or actually like professional investors or whatever. It seems like most people aren't. And if you are, great, then you'll be able to understand this. But if you're not, then this is the part that I would pay a lot of attention to. In business, when it comes down to making money, there's a trickle-down effect of who gets paid that money once you make it, right? And it comes down to net income. If you understand what gross revenue is, net revenue is, and then net income is, and if you want to, go ahead and Google it or ChatGPT it. I'm not going to explain it to you, but it goes something like this. They have all the money that they bring in, right? All the gold that comes out of the ground, and then they sell it, okay? They have to minus all of their operational expenses. How much did it cost to run the equipment? How much did it cost to buy the equipment? The upfront costs, right? What are the ongoing costs that are being incurred? All the people that are working for them, right? That are pulling all of this out of the ground. So they have to take all of that into account. And then that is going to be their net revenue, right? Minus operationals. Then what do they have to do? First and foremost, the people that have first claim to that money are going to be the people they're indebted to, okay? So debt, right? Lawyers, accountants, things like that, right? Then credit card processors, banks, people like that, right? They get paid next, right? Then it slowly trickles down after all of these different steps and all of these different people to the investors, okay? So you are and this is not me like making a dig at anybody. This is everyone's reality in this. As an investor, you are last in line to be paid. And it is because you are an investor. And there are operational and fundamental expenses that have to be paid for beyond that and before you. Now, let's talk about what they paid for, right? Operational, progress, and strategic investment. I've got it on my screen. I'm going to rip through it. Key investment areas this quarter include advanced machinery and equipment. That makes sense. Longevity, okay? Being able to pull out more gold or gold in general is probably good for the bottom line of your investment, right? Although you're only getting 1% this quarter, it's 10x what you got last quarter, and hopefully it'll be increased next quarter, even though it probably won't, because I know where's this place at? I think it's not Ghana, it's Uganda. They take up like 6-8 weeks for Christmas. So be that as it is, don't expect a bunch next quarter either, is my bias. Regulatory licensing and compliance. I would say that's pretty friggin' important to operate a mine and for their feasibility to continue operating and then potentially paying you returns coming into the future. So I get that. Infrastructure and security enhancements. Construction expanded for fencing, security control rooms, engineer offices, improved on-site logistics, storage areas to support higher production volumes. I think everybody would like to have higher production volumes. I don't think anybody's going to disagree that the site shouldn't be secure, right? Totally understandable. Technology and systems, IT infrastructure, monitoring systems, probably security systems like cameras, things of that sort, motion sensors, probably night vision, things of that sort. And basically what they're saying is they're obviously also looking towards like a forward-thinking strategy where they have also appropriated funds to start cleaning up their balance sheet, right? And specifically the debt portion of that, where they are hopefully going to be debt-free within 18 months. So if they're debt-free within 18 months, the mine is operational, all of those costs are taken care of, and it's just the operational cost day-to-day, I almost can guarantee you, I'm obviously not guaranteeing you because I am not the person that is running this company, but I could almost guarantee you that your payouts are going to be significantly higher. Now, they did announce Q3 was $2 per token, okay? So take that with a grain of salt, okay? I know that a lot of people are throwing around a lot of different numbers. I thought it was $14 or $15 that they had projected, but apparently some people are saying it was like 17 bucks, something like that. I get it. That's like a 90% decrease, 80% decrease in what was expected. But you also have to understand, do you want them to just pull out a little bit of gold and just call it a day? Because they've just gotten started. So what you also have to think about is like, did you get into this to get rich quick? If you did, a gold mine ain't the place for you, right? A gold mine ain't the place for you. If you got into this to have consistent income over time that takes time to build because it's actually building a business, that's what you got into. So keeping those realistic expectations, I think is going to help a lot of people, right? So am I surprised that they came out with a $2 dividend? No, I'm not. Am I mad that they came out with a $2 dividend? Honestly, no, because I get it from an accounting and a foundational, like financial perspective. I understand what they're doing. Here's my one qualm. And it might not be a qualm, it might just be a suggestion. And this goes for everybody, right? Any business. I would say they need to open up the books. And they need to say, okay, here's what we did. We got, I don't know, 3,000 ounces out of the ground or something, right? I'm just spitballing numbers here. We got 3,000 ounces out of the ground in Q3. Of that 3,000 ounces, we sold it for an average price of X, right? And this is what we brought back off of that, right? After like net revenue, right? Or gross revenue, right? Then of that, we subtracted out these operational costs. Itemize them, dude. You already have these numbers, right? Then here's what these things cost, right? Here's what the advanced machinery cost. Here's what the regulatory licensing and compliance costs. Here's what the infrastructure and security enhancement costs. Here's what the technology and the systems cost. Bare minimum, right? Bang, 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 bang. Itemized list, I think that would shut everybody up really fast. I would challenge them to do that. I would challenge them to bring out those numbers and then challenge people to be mad about it and say, $2 isn't enough. If you understand, I think why people are mad is because they didn't do that, right? That doesn't mean that they're not expecting to do that. I think hopefully people are expecting them to do that. I don't know if Burlcore is planning to do that. I cannot comment. What I can say is that I do not think that it's surprising. I do not think that it is random. I do not think that it is out of the ordinary, especially with the things that they're quoting that they spent money on in the quarter. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to criticize it. I'm not going to be gung-ho about it. I'm just going to say, hey, that sounds like business as usual. So long as they can prove all of those expenditures and you can prove that nothing else went anywhere else that you're not accounting for, great. I don't think anybody will have any qualms. I think showing people that would make them feel a lot better, and I think you would have a lot less uprisings inside of the community if you did that. So that's just my 2 cents, kind of my bias. And now you kind of have a background, kind of like a backdoor look at, you know, what does a business actually look like from a top-down, from gross revenue to net income, which is what you would get a portion of. What does that look like, right? So hopefully that's helpful. Tell me in the comments section if you like content like this. Obviously, hit the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe, and then boom, baby, bang on the notification bell. If you want to learn how to trade gold, if you want to learn how to trade silver, if you want to learn how to make money in the markets, get into Nordic Alpha. We haven't had a single week where we didn't make money in that. Just saying. Not yet, at least. I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. But if you go and ask people, and there's no guarantee of money either, by the way. No one can make it for you. No one can push buttons for you. We can give you the analysis, but you got to make it actionable, okay? So don't get it twisted like it's a get-rich-quick scheme. Please don't come in there thinking it's a get-rich-quick scheme like it seems like a lot of people did with Burlcore. So hopefully I will see some of you in there, and everybody have a wonderful day.